Well, I've been asked to do a video of removing the spark plugs out of the Tenere 700, and before I start I just wanted to say that I've taken out a particular piece of plastic from under the tank, which is really just a placeholder for some of the wiring and harness, and instead of using that plastic to retain it, I've currently got some large cable ties just holding it in place. It's not putting stress on the harness because the harness has a fair bit of free movement, so I think that'll be okay. But if you're concerned about it, you could just put a different piece of plastic in there and bolt it in somehow to support it, and just to keep it away from the top of your hand or whatever as you're reaching in to get to the plugs. So I've taken off the side panel here. There's about 5 or 6 bolts. I just need to remove this little panel here. You don't have to take too much off. You can just simply, that's a little press plug. You can just simply remove the top two, rotate that down. Then you've got access in here to get in and reach both plugs. It's tight. I've got a large hand and it is tight, I'll accept that, but it's doable, and it's a lot better than spending hours taking bits and pieces off. So you can get the coil packs out. I'll just reach the other one. I tend to work palm up, not palm down. It's just a bit easier. Now this other side one is tricky because, as it turns out, I've had a look, and the issues are the throttle cable in one instance and a little piece of wiring that both get in the way. So you can see these come out pretty easy. Now the other trick, of course, is how do you then remove the spark plug? Well, what I've done is I've purchased a rather neat and small 14mm magnetic spark plug socket, and I've tried a few different combinations of extensions to determine what works and what doesn't. So what I found is, on the close one, it's easy. You can pop that in, that'll go down in the first plug, but you won't get that combination into the second one. So then I tried the uni joint with the extension, and that does go in, but when it is in, it's too close to the frame at the top to put any kind of socket piece on the top. So that's actually just a little bit too long. And just to put a dimension on that, I've got this here. That's about, it's almost 7 inches. It's 6 3/4 inches, or let's talk about millimeters. It's about 165 millimeters long, and that's too long. So the one that works for me is 2 uni joints, and with that it's long enough to go down inside and still have this protrude, and it protrudes about that much. So if we were to measure that, I'll do it in millimeters. In millimeters, that's about 145 millimeters, 147 in total, and that's probably ideal. And the amount that it actually recedes into the rocker cover would be 100 and, I think, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember now, bear with me. Let's retest that, where it comes to. comes to here, just there, and that is 115 millimeters. So it receives in at 115 millimeters. This is in total about 145 millimeters, not 150 perhaps, close, 150, and that's ideal. So you'll get that in. It will also go into the second hole without any dramas. You can get that in, and then you can get the rest of the socket attached to it to loosen it and get the spark plug out. So there you go. In terms of getting the coil pack out, I'll show some video now where and how you go about doing that. But the critical thing is to be palm up, get this loose first, up a little bit, palm up, and then push back a little piece of wiring out the way at the back. That gets to the first part, and then push across the two throttle cables to get it to come the rest of the way. And it comes roughly on an angle like this. It's sort of to the right of forward, and then it'll just find its way out. Another piece of advice is make sure that these are all well lubricated with some grease. I just use the electrical grease. I've put it in a few places, just something like this. This says dielectric grease. I just put a bit of that around just to help this go in and out, and it did make a difference. So I can get these in pretty quick. So let's see how much effort it actually really is. And by the way, when I get it in, I have to get it in like this. I might try and get this on video and show you how this goes in. So that's it, guys. Very straightforward, a worthwhile modification to the bike, but as I said, if you've got any concerns about the harness, you can easily support it with an alternative that doesn't take up this space to get your hand in. Thanks for watching. What? What do you want? What do you want? Must be lunchtime.